Hey again, let me talk in this video about Singleton. So before I talk about Singleton and design pattern, let me first see the problem, then we try to explore what the Singleton do for us. So to get started, I will create a new class and I will name it Singleton. This is Singleton, okay? Then here I get my class. I suppose I have a class and a class I name it Singleton, and this class does have a constructor, and this constructor, maybe you say it here, you print here something, you print line, okay, class or instance is created, instance is created, okay. I suppose also you have a properties for this class, which is variable. You define it whatever you define it name, and this name you're supposed to be string, and it should be initialized with null. So now let me think about this class, and let me create instance from this class in main method. So I have this my main method, and I want to create instance from this class. You know how to do that. You say, hey, variable, okay, this whatever sin s1, the singleton one, equal instance from this class. Okay, now you want to set the value, so s1 dot the name, you want to set it to Hussein. That's great. Now if you want to print it, you could print it, so say print line, okay, for s1 dot name, that he will print Hussein. So if I just try to create another instance from this class here without initialize the name, okay, and let me name it s2. So you know what is the problem now? The problem now, s2 doesn't have name. So now if I just click run it, for first one, I define Singleton instance, so I will create instance from this class. So see, he said, wait a second until he will debug everything, and then we will try to explore our solution with Singleton. So if you see, first of all, he create instance from the class, he initialized the name with Hussein, then he create another instance from the class. The new name doesn't have any value because I have instance from the class. So what if you want to make Hussein shared between, or the name you want to be shared between two classes? Maybe you want to share it between three classes also, not only two. So before we defined the variable as static, and we could make it share, but static will make the variable live in memory for a long time, which make it waste the memory and make the device slow. So Kotlin they don't allow you to define anything as static. Instead, you could use a design pattern named Singleton. Singleton mean they will create a single object from the class. Whenever you try to initialize it, you'll still have single object from the class. So first of all, to start using this design pattern, first of all, the constructor you change it to private. Why? So you don't allow anyone to create direct instance from this class. So you just change the constructor private, you prevent anyone to create direct instance. Second thing, here we define the Singleton. How to define the Singleton? You just write the word composition object, then you open a bracket, you close it. Here, let me define val, just name it instance, and this instance you said equal instance of Singleton, and I won't do it by lazy. Why by lazy? I will tell you what. By lazy is very basic function. They take lambda expression, and he will consider this one as a lambda expression and return a function for you. So let me suppose he will return Singleton object. Okay, so but what's the problem now, or what's the solution that lazy did for us? So this way of writing the object, composition object, that means this is the way of defining the design pattern. So now if I want to create instance from Singleton, I just say Singleton dot instance, okay, and also this one I do Singleton dot instance and Singleton dot instance. But what will happen now? The lazy function, when he first time someone call it, he will create instance. He will call the constructor because it's private, so he will call it inside the class. You could call it. So he called and create instance. When the second one want to create another instance, when he just come here, he try to create another instance from Singleton. I say, wait, I have the idea of lazy functions. Say, hey, wait, I already have this class. I have an instance from this class. Let me send him the previous one. So he will send the previous one. Then when the third one tries to call this instance to create another instance from Singleton, and say, hey, I have it already, so let me send the same. So in every call, he will send you same object. Now if you run it, you should have one create instance instead of three. Before, see, I just have one instance created, while before this function is showed 3 times. And you see Hussein is used in the 3 functions. Why? Because I have only one instance used by 3 instances. I have only one instance from the class used by 3 variables. So if it's changed the value here, this one he could use it, and this one he could use it, and that one could use it. So we will use this design pattern a lot in Android because we don't have static, unfortunately. So make sure you understand. Really easy. Just whatever stack you have, class you have, just define write conversion object instance, the type from your class, write word by lazy, then open a bracket, send it back to your class, and here you done. Thank you for watching. See you next.